So basically, you're not allowed to drink anywhere over here, outside of a licensed establishment or the boundaries of your own property. The law is very clear on this, and it is, of course, for your own protection, and the protection of your darling little children. God bless their cotton socks. I nearly choked on my organic frosted flakes the other morning when a friend of a friend relayed a story about a friend's casual acquaintance who was ticketed by a plainclothes police officer for drinking just yards outside of his own property. Apparently, he'd just stepped outside of his property to admire a neighbour's blooming begonias when the narc jumped out of a hedgerow and busted him. At this point, I could go off about the use and misuse of police time and taxpayers' money, but it is something I will happily admit I know nothing about. So I'll leave that rant to other ranters, those with a more political bent. What I do find peculiar, though, is that it's absolutely fine for the homeless and dishevelled and underemployed to drink in the streets unmolested by the police, whereas your average Joe opens a can of beer and the proverbial book is thrown at him. I'm not having a go at the homeless here. I think they should be granted the small dispensation of being able to get drunk in public, but then I think that's a right that should be given to every single responsible, law-abiding citizen, homeless or otherwise. I hear rumours about how in Quebec one may quaff adult recreational beverages as long as it's at a picnic, and a picnic need only be a sandwich along with a 2-4 of beer or a box of wine, which is how our French-Canadian amis get around the rouge tape, as it were. Très bon. Very très bon. In the majority of states in the US, it is absolutely fine to drink booze as long as it's hidden in a brown paper bag. Which makes no sense to me, right? Because no one shields anything with a brown paper bag unless it is booze. So rather than the brown paper bag hiding the booze, doesn't it, highlight the fact that someone is actually drinking booze and make a mockery of an already ridiculous system? My solution, if any of you feel like drinking in public, on a Sunday afternoon in the park, let's say, is to stop shaving for a couple of weeks, go to the nearest pound and pick yourself up a mutt on a string, and then go to a charity shop and dress up in ill-fitting clothes. Not only will you be able to enjoy a public outdoor space with a few bevies, but you'll also avoid the scrutiny of the local police, who will write you off as a bunch of crazy street people who simply aren't worth the paperwork. You want a donut, Frankie? Get a coffee and a donut. Something.